In this video, I'm going to show you a little bit more information about the builder. So let's start with the new app. So let me create a new app here. Let's call it Test 2. Create new app. And here we come up, and as you see, it remembered our layout and so forth. So let's talk about the various portions of the app. So up here is the title, where you can put the title of the app. So if this is an app, let's say I was going to make this for one of our models. We'll call her Miss Kristen. And this is what will appear when it's installed on a device. It'll have that name. So when the little icon's on the device, Miss Kristen will be the default that comes down there. But when they install it on their device, they certainly can have the option to change it to whatever they want. You can assign a password to this app by clicking on this little button. So let me just do that just for kicks. And you can enter a password. I won't enter a password for this, but this is what they'll need to enter. So when they click on the link, it'll ask them for a password immediately. So this is something if you want to have, some security around your apps, you can do that. If you want to rename this app and call it something other than Test 2, which I called it right here is the Test 2, you can give it another name. Or I can just delete this app and be done with it. So those are kind of app level things you can do. So now let's talk about more of the layout. So as I showed you before, this is the visual design. It shows you sort of what the app will look like on a mobile telephone. This is where the icon goes, you know that. And now here's the layout. So let's talk about the layout a little bit. So this shows the layout of an app. So an app, the way we've got it currently laid out, starts with a logo, has some contact buttons, then has a gallery, then has some share buttons, and has copyright. And that sort of goes along over here. So we have the logo, the contact buttons, a gallery, which is empty right now, the share buttons, and then the copyright. So you can see it sort of matches the layout. So while this is great for looking at it and get a feel for it, and you can, as I showed you in previous videos, click on various components. For example, if I want to play the contact buttons, I can click here, and it brings up the contact button settings, but we'll not look at that right now. Or I can come over here to the contact buttons and click on the cog, and it will let me edit it as well. If I want to get rid of one of these layout options, like say I don't want any contact buttons on this layout or this app, I can click the trash can. I'm not going to do that right now, but once I click it, it'll immediately delete that layout and remove it. Oh, let me click one just to show you. So down here's the copyright. This is easy to replace. So I'm going to click delete on copyright, and you'll see the little images copyright goes away, and this layout bar will go as layout copyright bar will go away as well. And you can see I just did that, so it's empty and empty. All right. The final section, or the next section I want to show you about, is what I call the toolbar, and this is all the ways to add components to your layout. So I just deleted a copyright, for example. Let me just click on this one to show you what happens. So if I click on copyright, it added a copyright right back in. So you can always delete things, or you can bring them back using the toolbar. And what's also interesting is that I click it again, it'll add another copyright. So you can have multiple copies of the same type of layout option. So what I could do is arrange the copyright. Say I wanted a copyright at the top. I could put it there. So now you see I have a copyright at the top and I have a copyright at the bottom. So this gives you a lot of flexibility to repeat important information or lay it out as you see fit. But I'm going to delete this copyright at the top because I don't need it, and I'm back to my app. Okay, so for adding components, let's talk about the components. So these are the various components that I can add. As I mentioned, the current app has a logo, and right there's a logo component. So if I wanted to repeat the logo, I could do that. Let me click that, and if you notice at the bottom is where it where the new component defaults to, going to the bottom. I have a logo at the bottom and have it at the top, or I can move it right under the top one and have two logos in a row. So you can see you have complete flexibility of your layouts. I'll delete the second logo because I don't need it. Okay, so let's talk about these and go down in detail. So image. If you drag or drop an image or a JPEG file on the image, what that will do is place a picture on the main part of the app. It won't be in a gallery like we've seen before. It'll be on the main part. So let me show you how that works. I'll just take an image over here and I'll just drag and drop it right on here. And it uploads it and it puts it right there. So, oh, and one more thing it did, since this is the first image that was added to this app, it defaulted it as the app icon. So here we go. We got this image. It was added to the bottom. And right there is a pretty picture. I can take the image. I can move it. And move it right underneath the logo. And there it did. It moved under the logo. So I got the logo, the image, and all the contact, the gallery, and so forth down below. If you notice, it now has an upload panel here where I can drag and drop an image and have it upload the image so I can replace the image. So let me show you that. I'll just replace that image by dragging and dropping another one. And up it comes, and it just replaced it right there. If you notice, the app icon didn't change. It won't change anymore unless I want it to. And the way I can change the app icon is I can drag and drop another image off the desktop and drop it right on it, and it's going to upload it, and right there it is. And if I want to change the crop of the app icon, I can do that as well and bring it in, be right on it there. All right, so that gives you some ideas on the image here. So I can replace it, I can upload new ones, I can drag and drop into these little upload sections. And not only can I drag and drop from files on my computer, I can also drag and drop from images over here in the visual designs. For example, if I take this image, which is an image of her, and take it over here and drop it on the image and let go, it'll now upload or basically duplicate that image. So now you'll see over here I have two images in my layout, and there they both are, image and image. So let me delete this second image. So that's what the image is. It puts a big image on the main portion of the app. The next thing I can do is add text to my app. So let me click on text, and up comes a little text editor. It defaults to the theme background, which is black, and the theme text color is white. So I can put something in here like ask about our specials. And let me center that. And the way I can center it is I can click up here on the centering, and it centers it. And if I want to, I can make the font a little bit bigger by clicking on the font size. And let me bring it up to a 4 maybe. So I can design multi-line text to add to my app. And let me just do that to show you how that works. And I'll come down here and say, don't delay. And let's make that even different. I'll make it a little bit bigger. Let's make it a 5 font so it's a little bit larger. And some other things I can do is bold it by clicking on the bold. There, it made it bold. I can italicize it. I can underline it. I can put a strike through on it. I can left justify it, or left align it, center it, or right align it. I can change the font. If I want to change the font, let me select a different font. Let me go with Arial Black here. All right, let's do something funky just for kicks. Let me go Comic Sans MS. There, it looks significantly different. I can change the size, which I showed you. I can change the font color. So let's make this something that stands out like a yellow. There, don't delay is in yellow. I can also do links. So let's say I want them to click on something. So let me come down here, and I think I'm still in yellow Comic Sans font, but let me say click here. And then what I can do is highlight that, click on the link, and send them off to my website, cookdesigner.com. Oh, I don't need a name. Portraits. And click insert. Now I've got a link on here, and let me save it. And it goes to the bottom. Whenever I add something new, and right down there is they ask about our specials. Don't delay. Click here, and if I want to, I can move it up somewhere. Let's put it right there, maybe in the middle. And that's what a text box is. And I can add as many text boxes as I want. Now, if you'll notice underneath the text box over here, there is a dash and a copyright. If I click the copyright, like I showed you before, it adds a copyright. But what this dash is telling you is a copyright is a special instance of a text box. It's basically a text box that's already preloaded with information for you. So it makes it more expedient to add. I won't click on the text box to add one. But what I can do is come down here and click on this text box, or I can click over here on the copyright cog, either one. And you'll come up and you'll see, yeah, it looks just like a text box. And a matter of fact, I can add to it, like Cook Designer Portraits. And click Save, and you'll see, if I scroll down, there it is. Images copyrighted by Cook Designer Portraits. So it's just a text box. But this copyright is a shortcut. If I want to add videos, I can do that as well. Let me click the Video tab. And what it wants is the URL of a video. So we support 3 different sources for the video. If the video has to be either on YouTube, Animoto, or Vimeo. And when you copy and paste the URL of your video, it has to match this format. So make sure that when you pull up the, like if you went over to YouTube and brought up a video, that the link looks like this. Because if the link looks different, you're looking at it a different way, and it will not import correctly. So let me just select one. I'll just select this Vimeo right here. Instead of going and finding one, I'll just take one of these examples, because these are real videos. And I'll select it and click Save. And it added a video to the bottom. Let me scroll down. I'll show you there's a video. And sure enough, there's the outline of a video. If I click on this, it'll start playing the video, the Vimeo video. I showed you how to add another logo. I won't show that. Now we can add buttons. So buttons let us add things that you can push on the app. So if you'll see under buttons, there's 3 special buttons that have already been preloaded. So if I click this, I'll get the sharing buttons, which is already on the app. The sharing buttons are right here, or the share button here. I can then click it and I'll get a different, another set of them. Or I can click contact to add more contact buttons, or I click lock to add a lock. Now what a lock button is it lets the client or whoever's using the app, once the app's up, push it and put a lock on it. So it's what I call it is like a child lock. So when people bring up the app, they can't look at the contents without entering a password. This is to prevent kids from accidentally getting into apps, maybe some pictures that you don't want to share with your children or whatever. So for buttons, let me click buttons, and what it'll let me do, what it did is, is it added a row of buttons at the bottom. But if I come down here, you don't see them because there's no buttons yet. But if I click on the cog, you'll see that, yeah, there's no buttons here. So I can give this a label like, let me call this a website. So I know it's my website buttons, my button or whatever. And I can give it a title if I want. So it'll appear just above it. Visit our website. So the title will go on actually on the app so people can see it. And then I'll click add a button. So this is what it did. It shows me what the button looks like. By default, it's a question mark. So if I just click Save Now, let me just show you what that looks like. You'll see that at the bottom of my app, I've got the Visit Our Website in a circular button, a question mark for my button. But let's go back in and edit it like we're going along here. So to change what this button does, I just click on the button, and now I've got some options. The default type is a link, meaning if they push the button, it'll take them somewhere, or do something for them. For example, if you want to take them to a web page, you can just type in the web page you want, like http://www.cnn.com, for example. Or if you want to send an email, you can type in this syntax, mail to, and then your email address or whatever email address you want. If you want the button to actually initiate a call, you can put TEL : and then the telephone number to call. Or if you want to send a text message, you can put SMS : and the text number that you want it to go to. So that's what we can do. So let's just have it visit our website. Since that's what I said it would be. So I'm going to type in http://www.cookdesignerportraits.com. And the icon color defaults to the app icon color, which is fine. And what I can type in here is a label that'll appear underneath the icon. So let me give it a label like Cook Designer. And a question mark really doesn't make a lot of sense. So what I can do is click on the icon, and up comes all the various icons that I can select. And I can select any one just by clicking on it. So for example, if I want it to be a flag, I can click on the flag and you see it changed. Or in particular, maybe a world or a globe makes a little bit more sense for a website. So I can type in things to see if I can find it easier with this filter. So let's see if there's a thing like a globe, GLO. Yep, there it is, a globe right there. But if you notice as I type, it keeps adding it. So GL, like there's probably, I don't know why GL's for Google. Oh, there's a GL in Google, I get it. And there's like a martini glass and a stop sign or a warning sign, so I'm not sure why the GL comes up for that. But at least you can sort of guess for things. For example, if you want something like a stop sign, I'm going to put stop. Well, that's a stop, but not necessarily a stop sign. Let's see if I can find a Facebook image. So I can click face, and there's a couple Facebook images. Person. Nope, but there's some kind of X squared. So it's sort of hit or miss, but you can look in here and see what symbols you want. So I wanted the globe, which is right here. I'm going to click that, and sure enough, there's the globe. I can click save. There's the Cook Designer as I have it. Click save, and it updated my app, and there it is. Visit our website, Cook Designer. The next thing, so that's the button. So let me click on this. I can add another button, and there gives me another question mark, and go through the same process and change the type. So let's see, I got two other types. I can either put a lock. As I mentioned, there was a shortcut over here for the lock. You can define your own just by clicking lock, and this will be a lock button. So people can't view the app without viewing it without a password. So basically the first time they push the lock, it'll ask for a password, and then from then on, whenever they try to use the app, they have to enter the password. And the other option is a text box. So when they push the button, it'll pop up a text box. So let's say we wanted to have in here something like how about us or something, about us. And then I can type in here, Cook Designer Portraits is located in Georgetown, Kentucky, blah, 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 blah. And let's change the icon. I don't know what, I'll just select this for about us. Have a little person symbol. Click save, and there it is. And I click save and scroll to the bottom, and there we go. We have the two icons, and you push them, and they will do whatever you set them up to do. Again, I mentioned over here you can click sharing, you click contact, you can click lock. That's fine. Gallery. We showed you galleries in earlier videos, but if I wanted to add another gallery, I can click on it. Music is the last two options here. We can add music to our apps. We have two options. The bottom option is like our other options where you can just drag and drop or click on this to have it bring up a selection box where you can select the music you want to upload. Or we have a library of over 50 royalty-free songs, and I clicked on that, and up comes the list of the songs here. So you can select one you want, and you can preview it over here to see if it's really what you want. So I'll just click this on, and you might not be able to hear it because I'm not sure I'm recording video or audio. But anyways, it'll play the song for you. And actually, I can probably do this to get audio going here. Yeah, I think you can hear that. Or I can select another one. So you got a nice little selection here of songs with various types that you can select, and then you can click Save if you want to add it. So I'll add this one here, and if you'll notice at the bottom here is a music slider. Great. And the gallery. So let's play with the gallery for a second here. Let me get some images and drop them into the gallery. We'll find some, come over here, drag and drop them in. So we're adding images to our gallery here. Like we did before, it'll pop up and there's our gallery images. And what I can do is click on the cog, or if you're really careful, you can click on the little space between it. And up comes the gallery edit. And we have some options here. So we got a different layouts that we can have for the gallery, and I'll go over those in a second. You can change the background color, you can change text color. You can include the names of the file that you uploaded, if you want. That will be when they push on the thumbnail, that when the big image comes up, it'll also include the file name, so people can have file names that they can reference with you if you want. You can change the margin between the pictures. Let me just do that to show you what that's like. So let me make this, instead of 5, I'll make this 10. So if you look back here, this is like a little spot, but when I click Save for it to take effect, you see it got a little bit bigger. So this is the gallery, and I think I've showed you before, but I'll show you again that you can drag these images and drop them to change the order. So I put this one at the top. You can also take these images and drag and drop elsewhere on the app. So for example, if I want this image to be, this image is in the gallery, to take place of this image here, which is at the top, which is different than a gallery image, I can either drag it up here and drop it on her, and there it just replaced it. Or, let me take this, I can drag it and drop it here, and if I go to the top where that image is, you can see it got replaced. So you can pretty much drag and drop images everywhere on this application to lay out the app as you want. Going back to the gallery editing, here's the images down here. I can also rearrange the images down here by just dragging and dropping it. And what it'll do is take the image, and wherever I put it, it'll put it in front of where I dropped it. So I can take this image and drop it down here towards the end. I can move this here. Or if I want to, I can click the randomize photos. It just will randomly adjust them. So I just keep clicking and they're all random. Or I can click sort photos by name, and I'll just sort them by the file names. The other thing I can do is drag these images over here and drop them on this trash can to delete it. I won't do that, but that's how you can delete them. Layouts. Let's look at layouts. So this is the block layout over here I showed you before. We have the one column layout. Let me show you that. And what it does, puts all the images in one column. We have the two column layouts, which will force the images to be in two columns. And that, even if this is on a larger, like an iPad tablet, the images will just be big, but it'll just be forced to be two columns. We can go to 3 columns, save it, and you can see that they're in 3 columns. Let's go back to the gallery. It can be automatic, which says try and figure out the right number of columns. So it's like 2 columns on the phone. It'll be like 4 columns on an iPad, that kind of thing. It'll figure out the size of the device and try and make the images about this size, regardless on size of the device. But just put more of them across. And finally, you have the option of having a slideshow. And when you have an option of a slideshow, you get 2 more options you can choose from. One is the display time. Basically, how long should an image show before it moves on to the next image. And then the transition time is how long it takes to go between images. So let me just change this to about 3 seconds, just to make it a little bit quicker. And 1 second transitions is good. And let me click save. And you'll see down here is the images. And they will scroll through. And it acts just like the other layouts, except for it just shows 1 image at a time and scrolls through it. When this is on a device, or when you actually publish this app, if you push on these images, it will take you into the large view of just the images, where it gets rid of all the stuff on the front of the app and just shows the image itself, so you get a large view of it. Okay, I think that's pretty much it for this left side over here. On the right side, we have the publish button, where you click it to publish, and I've showed you that before. You just click it and immediately publish it. We have status, which I can click on, that shows you the status of the app. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So when you click and publish, this is the publish status information, which basically gives you the last date it was last published, the URL that you can click on, and your sample text message. If I want to see that again without having to publish, I can just click status, and there it is. Options. So we have 3 options associated with MyPhotoApp. One is you can tell it to don't cache the images. What that means is that you cannot display, when the app is installed on a device, if you went and deleted the app, or they can't view it offline, is the net of it. They've always got to have access to the internet to bring the images from the server, so it doesn't get stored on their device. Wait for images to download. This is sort of the opposite. So if you are caching your images, you can force the app to wait for all the images to come down before it starts. I would just have this on for testing. Normally I have this off because you don't really need it, but some people prefer to wait to make sure all the images are downloaded. And finally, when you do a publish, if you want MyPhotoApp to send you an email that says it was published and give you the text, so you can easily copy and paste it in your email client and then send it off to your client, your customer, then you can have it do that as well. And finally, statistics. If we click on this, it gives us a little statistics on the number of views, installs, and devices of the app, so you can see what's going on. This is a single app view. The analytics up here gives you a much broader view, and I'll go over the analytics in another video. And the last thing over here is a photo trash can, and basically it gives you another way to delete photos. So if you're up here and you come across and you decide you don't want a photo, like say I don't want this photo up here at the top, I can just drag and drop it and it'll delete it. Slideshow is not the best mode to drag and drop images from, so let me just come over here and change it back to something else like blocks. Fine. And now when I can see all the images, it's easier to select one. Like I want to get rid of this one, I just drag and drop. And there it goes. So that's another way to delete images. So that's the builder and all its features and functions. If I've missed anything or I have any questions, contact support, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Thanks, and happy app building.